to Labour Lens. I am Sharon Ijason. On this week's edition of the program, we will be discussing about the national minimum wage and what it means to an average Nigerian worker. We would also be discussing about the proposed attempt to remove the national minimum wage from the exclusive list to the concurrent list. We will be right back.
Over the years, government policies supporting job creation have gained widespread applause through its agencies. Many Nigerians, especially the youths, are envisaged to be empowered so as to be financially dependent. But most of such initiatives have remained ineffective as funds earmarked for them have made little or no impact. This ad hoc committee has been tasked with the responsibility of probing the disbursement of funds allotted for the training and acquisition of skills by MDAs between 2011 and 2020. The committee is worried that most of these funds are spent without appropriation by Parliament.
The best way to explore the endless possibilities embedded in this skill acquisition program is to work unanimously as a team to ensure that Nigerians gain maximum from the legislative intervention of this committee and that justice is equitably dispensed.
As the technical session opens, chief executives of MDAs provide evidence to support their activities in line with the subject of the probe. The Labour and Employment Ministry and other government bodies outline activities taken to tackle the increasing spate of unemployment in the country.
Equipments are given to these trainees for them to go and start creating their own jobs. What they end up doing is they sell these items and start looking for white-collar jobs.
We are asking other programs from other ministries. We give you all the ministries or all the agencies that have brought money for us to manage. We will send that on to you, sir.
I crave the indulgence of the Honorable Chairman and Committee for me to understand how that happened, what the criteria was.
Another battle of organized labor looms as the House of Representatives move to empower states to pay their workers according to their financial capacity. Many years of struggle by organized labor led to the enactment of the minimum wage law. The law, which is to be reviewed every 5 years, stipulates a firm benchmark as minimum wage to be paid by states and the federal government to workers. Prolonged agitation by labor movement in the country led to increase in the minimum wage from 18,000 naira to 30,000 naira by the Buhari administration in April 2019. Recently, the House of Representatives began moves to amend the law aimed at giving states the power to negotiate and determine what they can pay to their workers.
There does not appear any propriety in the federal government imposing the national minimum wage when the resources available to the federal government are at variance with those available to the state government or each state.
Reacting to the development, human rights activist and pro-labor lawyer Femi Aborishade says the move is ill-timed and against the laws of the land.
I support organized labor in calling on massive nationwide peaceful protests to resist the attempt by the ruling class of the two major political parties, the APC and the PDP, to decentralize national minimum wage in Nigeria. I support them. They should indeed begin to mobilize from wards, from local governments, mobilize teachers, nurses, and other categories of workers all over Nigeria, so that the protest is not limited to state capitals, but that the protest take place at Abuja, and at every other state capital and the capitals of every local government in Nigeria.
After its National Executive Committee NEC meeting in Abuja, the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC decided to hold mass protests across the country over the move by the lawmakers. Some activists are concerned that about 18 states are yet to commence payment of the 30,000 naira minimum wage about 2 years after it was signed into law. Spokesperson of the Campaign for Workers' Democratic Rights is of the view that organized labor has to be more proactive.
What we have in Nigeria is not a sane system. It's a very insane capitalist system which can only survive on the blood and sweat of workers. And the unfortunate thing is that you have labor leaders who are not relating and connecting the struggles against the attacks on workers with the need to mobilize and organize for workers to take power and ensure that the system of capitalism is banished and replaced by a socialist economic system. Without that, it means that these problems, will continue almost ad infinitum. And that's why, even at this stage, while we are talking about the minimum wage for workers in the private sector, they will tell you that they can't even begin to talk about minimum wage because the kind of, the suffering they go to does not even make them to aspire towards having a minimum wage, because you have, in some companies, over 70% of the workforce being casual workers. They are paid a pittance. They can be fired at any point in time. What we need now are policies, programs, and legislation that uplift, workers' conditions. But this will not happen without a labor movement that is ready to fight and fight without compromise. And also, it will not happen without a revolutionary overthrow of the existing capitalist system.
It will be recalled that the national minimum wage is a global standard adopted by the International Labour Organization (ILO) through Convention 26, which was ratified by Nigeria on the 16th of June 1961. On the profile interview segments this week, I will be speaking with the Vice President, Industrial All Global Union, Comrade Issa Aremu. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Good day, Sharon, and good day to our listeners and our viewers.
There are several challenges that an average Nigerian worker is faced with at the moment, but recently the National Assembly requested that the bill that has to do with the national minimum wage be moved from exclusive list to concurrent list. At this point in time, what would you think would have prompted the National Assembly to bring this bill up again, which has killed second reading?
Yeah, I think precisely because the bill has not gone through the normal process of openness, transparency, and of course, participation of the citizens, the way normal important bills are normally treated. Precisely because of this opaque manner, non-transparent manner the bill is being pushed, the more reason why we need to condemn that bill, because labor issues are open issues. So if the intention of the bill is to promote public welfare, to promote good governance, then it should be done in the open arena to have the benefit of the input of all the stakeholders. So I want to say that this bill already should be seen to be dead on arrival because of its lack of, because of its inability to follow the normal traditions that follow important bills, like other previous labor bills, even like industry, a petroleum industry bill, which we had public hearings and a lot of input. Then the second one, Sharon, is that for those who are knowledgeable about labor matters, today, all the key important factors of production, namely land, labor, and capital, they are on the exclusive list of 1999 Constitution. And only the executive branch can make an amend on laws guiding land utilization, guiding money, guiding labor. So I also want to say that a private member bill is an abnormality to amend national minimum wage, which is backed up by the Act of Parliament, which close to 41 years now, we've been reviewing it over the years. So what I want to say is that the spirit of the Constitution is that anything dealing with labor issues have to be on the exclusive list. Secondly, with minimum wage, it's always the bill presented by the executive. It goes beyond, if not even the parliament can propose a bill on that. Parliament can ratify proposal coming from the executive. So if from the point of view of Constitution, I think it's also an exercise in constitutional futility. And I think the Honorable Rep, who's proposing this bill, it needs to improve on his knowledge about labor market issues with respect to minimum wage. Then thirdly, Sharon, I also think that the challenge of this bill shows that we need to improve the knowledge of those who are ruling us, who are representing us at the National Assembly, those who are elected at the executive. We have to improve their knowledge about labor market issues. The national minimum wage is what it is. It's the national minimum wage, and Nigeria Labour Congress has explained this extensively. It is the wage below which no worker should earn. And currently it's 30,000. Before then, it was 18,000. This last exercise, when President Muhammad Buhari commendably set the committee in motion, the tripartite committee, to deliberate on the new minimum wage, for the first time, the governors were calling, not just through the governors forum, almost 7 governors were involved in that negotiation. So you can see that the honorable member who's pushing this bill is not even sufficiently knowledgeable enough to know the process of national minimum wage determination. National minimum wage determination requires a lot of information about the state of the economy, the level of productivity, the number of the workforce, the sustainability of the pay, and it takes a lot of, bargaining and compromises to get it done. Because you also need to put minimum wage in a place that will be able to sustain a worker, his wife, and his 4 children, for a month. Not only that, you must also put a minimum wage that will be able to ensure that him or her is comfortable enough to be productive at work. You must also get the figure in a way that the economy can absorb it to get it paid. So the issues involved in national minimum wage determination are too complicated for you to step down to the level of state completely, as the case may be, as far as the national minimum wage. So, and it's not just for the public sector, it's also for the private sector. And the whole idea is that the working man and woman will not be seen to become working beggar. During the last negotiation, CBN, we use a lot of data from Central Bank of Nigeria. Central Bank of Nigeria said one of the crises that put Nigeria into recession was that there was low purchasing power by the citizens. Effective demand is low, so was low. And if demand was low, of course, people will not be able to buy goods and services. That's why most private sector couldn't sell. So it's good economics to increase the purchasing power of the workers. And because when you increase their pay, Sharon, no worker will take the money to Dubai or to London. It's not even enough to buy boarding pass.
Which takes us to the importance of the minimum wage. Now that it has scaled through the second reading, what implications do you foresee if this is probably signed into law or it receives the presidential assent?
No, first I know that the National Assembly, headed by two notable patriots, the Senate President, as well as the Speaker of the House, Honorable Gbajabi Amila. I know that they will not allow this bill to pass beyond the second reading. What I mean about that is that they don't need to present it to the president at all, given the fact that we have shown, the organized labor has shown, NSC and TUs have shown that the bill was still informed. It was not meant to promote industrial money. It was not meant to facilitate productivity. State governors or state government are at liberty to pay more than the minimum wage if they want to, but they can't pay below that. And that is the rule. There are rules guiding land use in this country. There are rules guiding use of money, printing of money. It's on exclusive list. You can't say you want to have your central bank. It's not possible. There's only one central bank. There's only one national minimum wage. But of course, you can have different arrangement later to say you want to motivate your workers more. That's what the law is meant to really save workers from those slave drivers who call themselves employers. But serious enlightened employers in private sector know that when you pay your workers beyond the poverty level, you'll get the best of productivity. So I want to say that I've no doubt that the leadership of National Assembly will listen to the protests of labor. And don't forget that mass picketing are being planned for March 10th.
That brings me to the question, would you say that labor is doing enough? The press release or the communique was released some few days ago. Would you say that labor is engaging the government and even their members adequately on the several issues at hand?
You know that because of the vigilance of labor.
Apart from this nationwide protest being planned for Wednesday, what more do you think labor needs to do at this point to ensure that the lawmakers have better understanding about this issue of national minimum wage and its importance?
It's a two-way thing. It's not just labor. I think what the government should be doing. I have no doubt in my mind that President Muhammadu Buhari will not accede to this bill, because that would be a reversal of his own commitment to the new minimum wage. And he did very well to improve the minimum wage from 18,000 to 30,000. Not only that, he also encouraged the central bank to give bailouts 1, 2, 3 to the state governors to meet their salary obligations. They've also restructured the debts of some of these states in a way that resources will be made available for them to run their state. So I have no doubt that President Buhari will not accede to this bill. But Sharon, talking about what labor should do, it's not just labor. At that advisory committee, those are the places we need to increase the knowledge of our labor market issues. And it's not just the workers now who should be exposed to what minimum wages, what collective bargaining is all about, what the difference between minimum wage and living wage. But we must also engage with our legislators so that they know, and there's need for more robust partnership, more proactive engagement on the part of labor, because it is now clear that what is going on now is avoidable, is preventable. You get what I'm saying? If there's proper understanding, that honorable member, unless it's been teleguided by forces we don't know.
In the 21st century, would you say that there's a correlation between decent work and having a national minimum wage, especially for a developing country or an underdeveloped country like Nigeria?
One way to define decent work is that it has to be work that is rewarding for the worker in terms of pay. And a decent work is the work that is entitled to minimum wage, is entitled to living wage, as the case may be. So if you try to lower the minimum wage, you're actually promoting a precarious work, exploitative work, which is completely wrong. And it's not just for developing or developed countries. Joe Biden had just been inaugurated as the president of the United States of America. One of the key policy issues that Joe Biden is driving for American economy to come out of the crisis caused by COVID-19 pandemic is the new minimum wage. He has proposed a bill now to raise the minimum wage from $10.5 to $15 per hour, which means if you multiply that $15, if that bill becomes a reality, times 8, that's $120 for a day. The current minimum wage that we are talking of now, Sharon, is about $65 per month, which means a worker in the United States will earn twice what a worker will earn. We earn twice what the worker will earn just within a day. You earn twice what the worker will earn within a month in Nigeria. And that's why you see some of our some doctors and nurses will migrate to America and be driving taxi, because minimum wage is more attractive than working in Nigeria. So what I'm saying here is to answer your question point blank, the key element in decent work is to ensure that you guarantee living wage, not slave wage.
So at this point, what strategies do you think should be put in place to ensure that workers' rights are protected?
Honestly speaking, Nigeria has one of the best progressive labor laws. We have the law that says that if you work for more than 8 hours, you must be paid overtime. We have the law that says that if you're a woman, you have the right to maternity. It will not be used against you as a working mother. Although we can improve on that now. It used to be 3 months, but some other places they are talking of 6 months for maternity. Some are even talking of paternity leave, so that women should not carry the burden of taking care of children alone. We have the laws that guarantee that you have the right to go on leave. We have the law that says there should be pension, for a working man and woman after working for a minimum of 10 years. So Nigeria has very robust workers' rights backed up by law. We have the right to associate. We have the right to form unions. We have the right to go on strike. You have the right to collective bargaining. Nigeria has ratified called ILO conventions guiding the freedom of association of collective bargaining. Now, about the strategies to protect the right, then we need more education of all the stakeholders, and we have to make sure that we promote the best practices, and labor has to be more up and doing to do that engagement so that we are more proactive. We don't need to be defensive. If labor has been proactive to make sure that we punish the employers that don't pay minimum wage, no legislator will wake up to be talking of stepping it down in the first instance. And they must prioritize their spending very well to make sure that they face the challenges for governance. We can't combine this physical insecurity with another social insecurity, economic insecurity, because, Sharon, as I'm telling you now, even me as a labor man, I'm embarrassed. When I get to public places, you see workers. There are some of our members become working beggars. They say, "Oh, comrade, your boys are here. We can no level, anything for your boy," because the salary that we're even talking of is not enough.
Is this trend of some state governments who decide to pay half salaries to their workers? And we also have some that are even have this perpetual behavior of not even paying retirees what is due to them after retirement. How would you react to this?
Well, as Vice President of Industrial Global Union, we have defined, I can tell you that our Global Union has defined any attempt to reduce the pay of the working people as wage theft. If you don't pay full salary, it's wage theft. And like any act of thievery, is criminal. So I think left for some employers, including the state governors, if they have their way, they will not even want to pay workers any salary, because most employers some of them are exploitative. It is the job of organized labor unions in those sectors to fight back. It's purely unacceptable. Have you ever heard of a governor who say he has not received salary? Have you heard of any incumbent governor who does not get money to run campaign for re-elections? Have you heard of any governor that does not have security votes? Have you had governors who have not gone abroad for medical checkup? Who pays the bill? Have you seen any governor that is moving around with a canapé? Good number of them charter private jets. So it's not lack of resources. But they may want to divert resources for their own indulgences. It is the job of the workers in those sectors to make the point that whoever pays half salary, you get half job. If you don't pay at all, you don't even get services there, and it's protected by our law. No worker should work a day longer. For employers that do not pay full salary, or for employers that pay half of salary, they have the right not to work for them, or their unions must protect them. Nigeria Labour Congress is tested in this struggle, including TUC. They are tested in fighting against precarious work. It's unacceptable. It's criminal, and according to the Minimum Wage Act of 2018, it's actually punishable, both by fine, including jail. And I'm very excited about appointment.
Thank you very
so
much for your time. We do appreciate. And that's all we can take on
you.
today's edition of the program. Join us next week for a fresh edition of the show. I am Sharon Ijason. Thanks for watching, and remember that labor creates wealth.